Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu asyrafil anbiya mursalin. Sayyidina Muhammadin wa alihi wa sahbihi ajmain. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
We shall now continue, inshallah, with the tazkirah tonight about Allah 9. Now, a little bit introduction here. In the slide, you can see. Now, you can see in the slide there are two colors. One is a light brown, and the other one is blue. The blue part is the one that explained to all of you how this knowledge come to me. I got this knowledge in 1978, but I could not teach because I don't know the order of the knowledge. I don't know the arrangement from A to Z, all jumbled up. Until 1990, I went for Hajj and I was invited by two persons that Rasulullah wanted to see me. The two persons more in spiritual form, spirit. Some of you will call soul, but I call it spirit. And my spirit left my body. Body was on the bed. I was lying down there and followed them. Now I know the two persons are Sayyidina Abu Bakr and Sayyidina Umar. So I followed them. I was at the first floor. They come up by the window. I also followed them down the window to the Rauda. On the left of the Rauda was the door. They went in, they sat beside Rasulullah, on the left-hand side of Rasulullah. And I was asked to sit in front of Rasulullah. And this is where the key was given to me. The knowledge of God, the key to the knowledge of God was given to me. And that key was, at the beginning, there is Allah, and nothing was received. That was the key. And that was the key that, Alhamdulillah, I gave the knowledge to thousands, and all of you too, especially the lecturers. You too have helped to pass this knowledge to others, and many more to come in the future with your ardent work to pass this knowledge to all Muslims, because as it been said, awaluddin ma'rifatullah. The first thing in religion is to know Allah. So once I was given the key, and to open the door, I just say kun. And that was at the beginning, there is Allah, and nothing was with him. And therefore, when he said kun, it is to himself, and the door was open. Now, at this point, please note carefully, please note carefully. The key was given by Rasulullah. The key was given by Rasulullah. Therefore, it is a hadith. It's not a surah. At the beginning, there is Allah and nothing was with him. This is a hadith. So that is the key. Okay? It's not in the Quran. I was given by Rasulullah. And therefore, it's a hadith. The key is from Rasulullah. And therefore, it's hadith. It's not a surah. At the beginning, there's Allah and nothing was with him. I got it from Rasulullah. And I need only to say kun, then the whole thing open. See? because no other existence. Therefore, when kun, it is kun to himself, and therefore when the door open, the first thing is Allah. Okay? But I just want you to remember this, that the key I got is from Rasulullah. And that is the hadith, at the beginning there is Allah, and nothing was with him. That was the key. And the door, to open the door, I just need to say kun, and the kun is on Allah. Okay? There was Allah, nothing else was with him. And from there, we got the knowledge, right? When the door opened, we got the knowledge. Allah spoke to himself. And then we have the akbar and the subtle self. Then we have the essence. And then we have the low mahfuz, where the kun in the Quran, eight kun there, it happened at the low mahfuz. Remember, the kun in the pinkish part, that kun is in the Quran. 8 kun altogether, if I'm not wrong, and our gracious lady Sahat also checked 8 kun. So there are 8 kuns, and all that in the frame of low mahfuz, because kun is a mungkin wujud. Mungkin wujud. But that kun is explaining the creation of 7 heaven and earth. That kun, as stated in the Quran. The kun that I got is from Rasulullah to open the door. And the kun is related to the hadith. Hadith is the key. And the kun is the door. So the kun I had is nothing to do with the Quran. It's the kun, it is the key that opened the door when I said kun. Okay? Nothing to do with the Loh Mahfuz. And once the door is open, the knowledge of God, the Marifah knowledge, or the Ilmu Marifah, was then opened up to all of us. And that is the pinkish, the pink part of it. Okay? So this I had to explain. This is an overall picture. Now we will go in. Now, look, it's a mandate given to me. Look, I'm not a religious scholar, please. I got this Ilmu 78, and 1990 I was appointed to teach. Look, I was never a religious scholar. I was a lawyer, yes. I studied law, yes. I got 2 degrees on law from London, yes. But I don't have Sharia, I don't have religious degree at that time, at that point of time. Later on, then I went back to the International Islamic University in Mayer, and I completed the Sharia until master's degree. But before, when I had this one, the mandate, I don't have religious, good religious knowledge. Neither I'm a religious scholar or whatever. Nothing to do with religion. Even my mother came crying, told me, stop being an Ustadz, you are a lawyer. You'll be put in jail, all that. Truly, it was unexpected, but it was given. What to do? I have to carry out. Okay. I did twice wanted to close up, but was prevented. The first time by my dear friend Nasir and Marhama, especially Marhama. The second time was by Tuti, Indonesia. To stop. I wanted to close. Enough, enough teaching people. Some people did not accept. Some people criticize you. Some people say, "How can you be a ustad? Lawyer are all crooked." For them to be lawyers are all crooked. How can you teach this? So many things. I just wanted to close, but what to do? It was never meant to be closed. And then in 2008, I went to Hajj, Umrah, 2008, Umrah with Nasir, Muhammad, and others. And there I got like to Qatar, and my jurisdiction was open out to be worldwide. And then start coming in all other countries into this realm of knowledge. I think 2012, I think, Uti came. Just a minute. This one, the battery low. Just give me a minute. Okay, the fuse was out. Okay, now it, uh, okay. So 2008, when I got the light to Qatar, then this uh, knowledge become more widespread. Alhamdulillah. And again, I got the mandate to teach this, the key, and to open the door of Marifatullah from Rasulullah. Okay? And that I, until today, still teaching. And Alhamdulillah, now I got 7 persons to assist me. Alhamdulillah, praise to Allah and Rasulullah for the appointment of 7 of this person. Inshallah, I will carry on the legacy in the future. Inshallah. So the key was this word was given to me. You see, remember 1978, I got this knowledge, but I can't teach. I don't know the sequence. No? And that was what happened. During 78, I already changed. After I got Marifah, I changed for the better. I changed for the better. And suddenly, those who are in my Institute of Higher Learning, who one time called me public enemy number 1, when they saw the changes in me, and they all were stunned. Huh? And suddenly from hatred become love. And Alhamdulillah, hey, what happened to the Quran? Alhamdulillah, thereafter they loved me and supported me financially when I was studying in UK, when I wanted to marry and I wanted to build my law firm. They supported me financially, quite a great sum at the time. But you see, that time I can't teach Marifah. So they don't have this knowledge, and I didn't teach them this knowledge. They didn't know, so I know I have this knowledge. Then in the year 2000 plus, we had this seminar at Johor Bahru, KSL Hotel. So one of my friends, among this group of friends who supported me, attended the seminar on the behest of his friend. His friend wanted so much to attend, bring him along. Hey, my friend is a professor, Professor Ismail Shari, the professor. He attended and he was surprised to see it was me was delivering the lecture. So after that, he came to, hey, why didn't you teach me in the 70s when we were together? Why, you had this knowledge. I said, that time I can't teach. Only when I left you all, I went to Hajj in 1990 because we studied together until 79. After that, they sent me to London, all that. I got married, all that. 1990, then I was allowed to teach, even right to teach, mandate to teach. And 2000, they met me. I explained, at that time when we are together studying, I cannot teach, but I know the subject. In 1990, when it was arranged, mandated by Allah, then I could teach. And that was the key. And to open it, just need to say kun and open. Okay? And Alhamdulillah, uh, he understood it. So that was the 1990. That was the time I started to teach. Okay? So the key is at the beginning, there is Allah and nothing else, or nothing was with him. That is the key. And all of you, I'm sure, inshallah, you use this key, you can guide people into this knowledge of God. What you need to say is kun. After read this hadith, at the beginning there's Allah, nothing was with him, and then you need to open this door of ma'rifah. You need to say kun. Then the question comes, to whom? Only to himself. And then things will, evolve from there. The knowledge of God. Right? So you can see the beginning is Allah, nothing else, and nothing else. Then the key, this is the key. At the beginning there is Allah and nothing else. This is the key. Or nothing was with him, or nothing else. That is the key. To open it, you have to say kun. To open the door, you have to say kun. So the question is, to whom? Is to himself. Okay. So the door open, then the knowledge is open, and the first thing is Allah. So he kun to himself. Okay. So the knowledge. So the door, the kun, the key that Rasulullah gave to me, and the kun is to open the knowledge. Nothing about the kun in the Quran, nothing to do with the Quran. Open the door to the knowledge. Okay? You don't say kun, it won't open up. Because at the beginning, Allah is alone. So when you say kun, to whom? To himself. That opened the door. It's nothing to do with the kun in the Quran. The kun here is the key to open the door to the knowledge of God. So the door open, and for sure, we start with Allah, because He's the first. Okay? Allah. Verily, I'm Allah. There's no God beside me. He's alone. No God also means no existence, no other existence except Him. If there's another existence, Allah exists, and that other thing exists, then there are two gods. Two existence, two God. That's why He say there is no God beside. Okay? So because there is no other existence or no other God beside him, when he said kun is to himself. Now, just to digress a bit, but we'll come back to this point. When he said kun, right, to himself, there we at this stage understood, is the greater self saying to the subtle self. Right? Not kun to himself is the greater self talking to the subtle self. We'll see this later. Otherwise, Allah is totally unknown. And nobody will hear him say kun. And nothing will happen because he's alone. But when he say kun, it means the greater self said this to the subtle self. And that start the ball rolling. Let's get this clear. Because he say kun, he only exists. Then who hearing this? What happened? Nothing exists. So when it's a kun, is the greatest self, kun to the subtle self. Okay, the subtle self. You see this. We'll examine this closer as we go along. So verily I'm God, there is no God beside me. Yeah? There is no existence except me. So when you kun to whom, O God, when you say kun is the greatest self to the subtle self. Okay? Because there's no other existence. Also, he's infinite, Asa, infinite. He shares his existence with no one. That's why he's infinite. He doesn't share his existence with anyone or any existence. He exists absolute and infinite. He does not share his existence with anyone. That's why I say, verily I'm Allah, there's no God beside me. No God means no other existence besides me. Okay? Therefore, he's infinite, eternal, and absolute. Absolute. 100% existent. Asa, 100% infinite. The only existent. Absolute. And then when you say kun, I say to the subtle self. When there's a subtle self, there must be the greatest self. That you must bear in mind. Okay? Because the subtle self occupies only the subtle part of Allah. So the balance is the greater self. So whenever there's a subtle self, there will be a greater self. Whenever there's a greater self, there will be a subtle self. Okay? Because these two together, although they're not separated, but together they become one, and that is Allah. Okay? Now, again, here I want to explain to you a bit more. We say the greater self, we say the subtle self. The greater self or the subtle self, not Allah. Right? Because Allah is immeasurable. You cannot measure him. He has no limit, unlimited. So how to know he's greater? How to know he's subtle? You just cannot measure. What Jesus said, Allah is immeasurable. To know this, I shiver. Shiver. Immeasurable. But then we say he's great. He's subtle. That is when he say kun, there's existence of his subtle self. And the greater self say to the subtle self, it's not Allah. Allah to whom? To the greater self. That's why the first part that tajali, that appeared, is his subtle self. With the appearance of his subtle self, the balance is the greater self. Then with the greater self, kun to the subtle self, and the ball start rolling. Okay? So the subtle one, subtle self, also, it is a envisaged as a niche. Allah have to give some kind of example, right? So the word in the Quran was used a niche. But the truth is, the niche also cannot be visible. The niche also must be unknown because Allah is unknown, and every part of Him is unknown, right? And cannot even we try to put a feature on it. We can't. But in order for mankind to understand, he used an example, a niche. Okay, the subtle one is a niche. A niche you can see here. A niche to me is like a bubble in the ocean. In the ocean, a bubble in the ocean. That is a niche. From the knowledge of my Sufi, niche is that, not a depression at the wall, like a wall depression where you can put statue or flowers. That is still open. To me, a niche here is like a bubble in the ocean. Okay? In the ocean. not outside or in the ocean. Okay, so it's like this one, the subtle self is within the greater self, within the greater self. Okay, a niche, and that is the first thing that emerge, the first thing or the first image that emerge, and that is the container. Container is image, an image, a feature, a face. Okay, so the first thing that emerge is the uh, subtle self, the container, the image, and the image is the subtle self, the smallest form of his person, Allah person, small form, minute, small, that we call subtle, subtle. So that is the first to appear. Okay, the first image to appear, container, and that image, like this, we have to draw a circle, otherwise we have to pinpoint where the subtle self, right? So if anybody say, hey, isn't that already a form? Yeah, lah, I have to teach. Otherwise, no form. How to teach? Where the subtle self? Can it be here? It can be here. It can be here. You know. So we have to do this. Even Allah have to use an example of a niche. Okay. So the container that appear, the image that appear, the first image that appear, is a small, minute, and that minute we call the subtle self. In Malay, is much clearer. Maha Alusa, the subtle self. So he's the subtle. Verily Allah is subtle, aware, and that is the subtle self. That's the first we make. Okay. Now, again, I want to digress a bit. Look, we are the first one, according to our learned brother Tafikor. We the first one who stress and stand on the ground that Latif means subtle, means mahalus. But most people say Latif in Arabic means can mean a tiny sound, but it also can mean very Malay say lembut, but in English very what is gentle sort of gentle sort. But it also can mean subtle also. Okay. But I choose subtle because it's more inclined with our Sufi knowledge, whereas gentleness is more inclined to the Sharia. Okay. So the first thing that appears is subtle self, subtle self. And with the subtle self, as I said earlier, there will be the greatest self, because the balance will be the greatest self. Okay. So the greater self spoke to the subtle self and vice versa. Okay, we see here. So there's a subtle self. When there's a subtle self, then there must be the greater self. Because these combine, and there is Allah. Okay. So you see here, the subtle self is not bigger than a sand to the greater self or to Allah, or like a drop of water from the ocean. This subtle self, the very small, comparatively to the greater self. Of course, the greater self is much, 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 much bigger. The subtle self is just a drop of water in the ocean, or a grain of sand in the desert. And the Big Bang theory, the God particle, that is the subtle self, lesser than subatom. It is lesser than subatom. And then you see our holy prophet say, the seven heaven and earth are but a linseed to Allah, very small. Okay. And you see this one, this is fantastic. Atom consists of 99.9999% empty space, right? This means that the computer you're looking at, the chair you are sitting on, and you and yourself are actually not there. That will be the 0.1%. Okay? So 99% emptiness, 1% only. And that is the 1% is the subtle self, which manifested become the low mahfuz. Okay? Or you can combine the essence also manifestation and the low mahfuz of manifestation, both combine 1%. 99% is total emptiness, because the atom, you can see the atom here, I explain to you later as I come to the atom that made up everything here, everything that exists, including space and place and time, is encompasses by atom. And atom 99.9% empty. No physical, nothing. Only 0.1, yes. So if we take 99% as the greater self, that 0.1% is the subtle self. Okay? And you see, science already dictate that. Now, that was the subtle and the greater self. Now we see the essence. The essence is the light. Allah is the light of the heaven and the earth. Is light, it's like a niche. So there's a niche, right? There's the subtle stuff, the niche of the subtle stuff, as we learned just now. And it's lighted up. It's lighted up. Once it lighted up like this, lighted up, the niche is lighted up, it becomes essence. So now there is a form. When it's a subtle self, the niche is a subtle self, there's no form, because it's part of Allah. No form, no shape, nothing. Right? Then suddenly appear a light in the niche, and that becomes the essence. The essence lighted up, the niche lighted up, become essence. And again, I want to stress it. Why is the essence light? Why was the essence not a physical entity? Why must it be light? It must be light, because the subtle self, the power is so great, because it's part of Allah. If the essence is physical form, it will be destroyed. But because it's light, okay, without physical like us, so it is safe from being destroyed. Okay, but it becomes the source of all other creation. You, the essence, are the origin and the end of all creation. Is the source of all other creation. That's why we say that you are the origin, that is the wajibul wujud, right? And the creation that come from this wajibul wujud, we call it mungkinul wujud. Mungkinul wujud. So the essence and the manifestation from the essence, they are both manifestation. The essence is manifestations from the subtle self, whereas and that is the wajibul wujud. And the creations are the manifestation from the essence. Okay, so both are manifestations. Therefore, I've been stressing the prime mover is the subtle self. So you see here, the essence is within the subtle self. Okay? And outside of it is a greater self. So it's still within the subtle self, the essence. And therefore, bearing that in mind, the subtle self, the essence, the greater self. You see, greater self and subtle self, of course, we don't have any idea of what they are because they are part of Allah. We cannot envisage that. But for the essence, we can envisage because it's a light. Light is color, gold color or yellow color, whatever. But the light, that's already a form. And that is the manifestation, the form, the essence, the manifestation of the subtle self. It's still within the subtle self. Within, you see. It's still not outside. That's why it must be within the self. It is enclosed by the subtle self. And you see later, low mahfuz. That's a low mahfuz. From the essence become the low mahfuz. You see here, the low mahfuz is inside the essence, within the essence. Within the essence. Because that's why I say, if outside the essence you lu mampus, outside the low mahfuz, you lu mampus. Because outside is the essence. You will be burned to death. So you can see here, the low mahfuz is within the essence, but it is of certainty without any doubt at all that all creation of probable existence, that is the mungkin wujud, come from the obligatory existence, the wajibul wujud. Okay? And the low mahfuz is perfected. Nothing is omitted. Everything is a 12 billion years plan, low mahfuz. And it's done superbly. Nothing is amiss. That's why Allah said, nothing have we omitted. The 12 billion years plan, all perfected. And the 18 billion years, the infrastructure also perfected. After that 12 billion years, the law mahfuz come to play, perfected. Nothing have we omitted. So you see here, the law mahfuz is within the essence. Okay? So you have learned the glass. That is the essence. And within it is the lamp. There's a low mahfuz. You have learned that before. And where the kun come about when? Not at a time when there is a subtle self and greater self. Not at a time when there is the essence. But these are all not mungkin wujud. The subtle self is part of Allah. The greater self, the greater self, the subtle self are part of Allah. The essence manifested from the light. There's no kun. And the essence is the obligatory existence. The only one obligatory existence, the essence. Therefore, anything else apart from the essence are mungkin wujud, probable existence. Whereas the essence is the wajibul wujud, the obligatory existence, the source of all other creation. Whereas the other creations that manifested from the essence are the mungkin wujud, all. So except for the essence, everything else are mungkin wujud. And therefore kun is a mungkin wujud. Understand? So kun cannot appear before the essence and never. Okay? because it's a mungkin wujud. The wajibul wujud must be first. So when the essence manifested to become the law mahfuz, okay, what we know that there is the veil of light, 70 veil of light. Its main purpose is to protect the law mahfuz from the pressure of the essence outside. So Rasulullah say, anybody see the grandeur of the essence will be destroyed. So the 70 veil of light is to protect the law mahfuz from being destroyed, from the pressure of the essence outside. So the veil of light was there, the throne was there, Arash, water on the throne was there, and the Siratul Muntaha was there. After that, then the kun come to being. The kun was enunciated. We can see this because you see the ayah on this, the surah on this. Because at that time of time, after the Siratul Muntaha, the earth and heaven are in one mass, you know, in folded together in a mass like this. Okay? And that's where the food coming. Okay? And that also the theory of Big Bang. Okay? So you see here, this is the mass. Okay? So you have the veil of light, you have the throne, Arashi, you have the water, the Siratul Muntaha, and heaven and earth in a single mass. And you can see here that he is the creator of the heaven and earth, right? When he say be, then it becomes, right? So it was a single mass like that. When Allah say be, right? Kun to the heaven and earth, because he's the creator of heaven and earth. So at one time was a single mass, and there's a verse on this. Where is it? Do the believers not realize that the heaven and earth were once one mass? Then we split them apart. That is the kun. And that also the theory of Big Bang. Okay. So heaven and earth a mass, then he created the heaven and earth by saying kun. Kun this heaven and earth in a single mass. And suddenly you can see 7 heaven in 2 phases, earth 2 phases, then the sustenance 4 phases, 8 phases, that the infrastructure. Okay, that is the infrastructure. This is the infrastructure. You can see 7 heaven, water, Siratul Muntaha, veil of light, kun, and suddenly the single mass after Allah had said kun, it becomes 7 heaven and the universe. Okay. So as I say, see, Allah, the Akbar, the Satu Self, the Essence, and then the kun is in the low mahfuz. Not before that, because kun and low mahfuz are mungkin wujud. Mungkin wujud. Now, if we are clear on that, I move to Allah, the greater and the subtle one, or subtle self, or subtle one. So be clear, again, we see here, there is Allah, right? After we open the door, having the key, first thing we know is Allah, and from Allah emerge his tiny self, that is the subtle self. And with the subtle self will be the greater self, Akbar. Then from there, a light shone, and the subtle self become the essence. And from the essence manifested the low mahfuz. And in the low mahfuz, at the beginning, when the low mahfuz manifested, you have the veil of light, you have the arashi, you have the water, and you have the Sidratul Muntaha. And earth and heaven were in one mass. Then Allah said, Kun, and it becomes seven heaven and earth. Okay, that is during the Lawh Mahfuz. So the Kun is during the Lawh Mahfuz period, not otherwise. And Lawh Mahfuz and Kun are but mungkinul wujud. Okay. Now let's see Allah, the greater and the subtle self. Allah, huh? This ayah is the manifest and the hidden. This Allah monologue, no? He is saying about himself. All right? He is the manifest and is the, that means whether it's the greater self or the subtle self, it is him. The manifest and the hidden, whatever is him, all that is him. He's not talking to anyone. He's talking about himself. Monologue. He's not addressing anyone. He's just telling you, I'm the manifest. He's just saying, I'm the manifest, I'm the hidden. Okay? He's talking a monologue. That is Allah. Monologue. So when you see like this monologue, then you know Allah is speaking to no one. He's making a statement, a monologue, a statement. He also is making a statement. To Allah belong all that it is in the heavens and all that is in the earth. He is making a statement, a monologue. All this belong to me. He's making a statement. I'm the manifest. He's making a statement. So when you read the Quran, try to see this pointer that I showed you. Okay? Inshallah, you won't get wrong. Okay? Then you can see also, when is the greatest self? When in the Quran, it's not Allah making a statement, a monologue, but it's the greatest self talking. You can see here. All knower of the unseen and the seen. Right? He's an all knower, all knowing, the most great and the most high. Even the all knower, most great, most high. This is not Allah making a statement. All right? Because there's nothing to be seen or unseen. It's the only, if it's alone, all right, then there's nothing to be seen, unseen, because if it's alone. Therefore, this is more that, it's more of the greater self-talk, right? All know of the unseen, the most great, the most high, the lofty. Okay? Is the greatest self talking about himself. All know of the unseen, the most great, the most high, the lofty. Okay? That what happened to the subtle self, the greater self know. Okay? Is the most great, most high, the lofty. Okay? This is the greatest self talking, and you see the subtle self, you see, is the subtle. That's the subtle self. Whether Allah is subtle, that's it. Subtle is part of it, and aware. And verily Allah is subtle, aware. Verily He encompasses everything. That is the subtle self. He feels and encompasses every space and particle. That is the subtle self. So you see here, greater self, subtle self. Now, when he say, verily He encompasses everything, from sign explanation, everything includes space and time are but atoms, are made up by atoms. So for us human beings, there are 50 trillion cells that come from the atoms. The atoms become cells. Now, therefore, our body here, according to science, are nothing more than atoms. These are fine existence that cover our body, the atoms. We are all atoms, or you want to, you can call cell, but the cell is from the atom. So all of us are created by atom, which maybe the nose here 10,000 atoms, the ear maybe 12,000 atoms, my slim body maybe 80,000 atoms. You see, big body, that means your life is short. Slim body, okay, 80,000 atoms, all from the top of our head until the leg, all atoms uh, become mass and become our leg, hand, head, and everything. Atom. This atom, you see the atom, the inside the atom that encompasses the atom is the subtle cell. Inside the atom. So you see the atom, you have hydrogen, nitrogen, whatever inside. That also, and inside it is totally the subtle cell. To explain clearly, you see the ice ball, ice kapal. You see, these are tiny ice, right? Like atom, tiny ice, tiny atom, these are tiny ice, but inside water. Totally water encompasses the ice. So what I'm trying to tell you that as a science say 99% is emptiness. So we are all made up of atoms. And therefore, according to the metric, we don't exist. And that was said by the Imam Ghazali. You know your God, you know yourself. You do not exist. And science proven that whatever you see an illusion, okay, not true, doesn't exist according to the quantum theory. We don't exist. Okay. So coming back to our lecture, now we understood the situation. So what caused us to move? Is the subtle self. As I said, if this ice ball move, it's because of the water inside. If the water got power, the water inside. If we, the creation move, it's not we. It's the power that is with us. And that power, the prime mover, the powerhouse, is the subtle self. So at this stage, please, our lecture will only go to that level, the subtle self. We are not going to go down and talk anymore about essence. We're not going to talk about the attributes. Okay. You want you attend the seminar, inshallah, our lecture will guide. At this level, we are talking about the subtle self. So in this lecture, again, I want to impress on you that whatever you see, please realize and understood that everything you see are the interaction of the subtle self and nothing. But you can see sometimes subtle self with subtle self, sometimes greater self with subtle self. Okay? But if Allah is talking, He is talking monologue and making statement. Nothing to do with subtle self, otherwise two existed, or greater self, otherwise two existed. So when He talks, when Allah make a statement, He's alone. No greater self, no subtle self. But when there was a talk that relate to some other existence, then it's a greater self to the subtle self. It cannot be Allah to another existence, because Allah is the only existence, infinite and absolute. Okay. Now, I must be thankful to Pak Reka. He always suggested 1 hour because every topic. So I stop at this point. I hope you can understand. And inshallah, we'll move again next week. And at the end of the month, you can ask whatever question you want, inshallah. Okay, back to Bayu.